Day, beloved ones. And hey, it's Saturday. It's Explore the Mysteries. And Shri and I have an extraordinary, really special weekend for everyone. I think every once in a while we bring out some shows that are maybe what someone would call their archive show. The one where you'd point to and say, that's a show I want to really remember. That's a show I want to look at again and again. That's this weekend. So pick up a chair, sit down, relax, join us, stay with us, because we are at a very profound moment right now. We are at this moment during this Mercury retrograde where we're going to be in this peaking experience. And in this peaking experience, you'll notice if you're watching us at YouTube at Oneness Talk Radio, at our YouTube channel, you'll notice I'm kind of making my hands into a lotus. We are all blossoming. Yes. And that's why Shri and I'm going to move a little bit. If you're watching us, that's why our background is this beautiful hands holding the pyramid of awakening wide open, because that's what's happening right now. And how many of you, and I guarantee if you're chatting with us over at onenesstalkradio.com, let us know about it in the chat. How many of you are noticing the intensity of Mercury? I know we are certainly noticing it. And it's something that is very, very palpable. And we're going to be talking about how that's affecting us as well. Now, look, if you want to get into the conversation, if you'd like to chat with Shri and I, ask a question, share your opinion, request a mini soul reading.
Absolutely.
We are right here, and you can give us a call at 517-208-1500. 517-208, 517-208-1500.
And that'll bring you into the call board where you can listen to the show on your phone or whatever you're calling in on and turn off everything else.
Yeah, because again, we're really diving into this energy of self-ascension or self-sabotage. And self-sabotage, the way that it's actually being experienced right now on the planet, is very much about working through an ego, working through that density ego that would be aligned with this sense of superiority or a sense of empowerment through polarization. Mm-hmm. And there is a lot happening. And what's so fascinating for Shri and I is that as we are entering this, remember, cycle within a cycle, because we will all be in this energy through April 16. Remember, this is a cycle. So as Shri and I were experiencing this energy and we were dealing with this Mercury retrograde, and I do apologize for our dogs, guys. We are in election season here. And here in Ecuador, the way it works is that they have 30 days, and that's all they have to plead their case. How vote for me, vote for me. So it's pandemonium out there. So forgive us. We only have one more week to go. So going back to what's been happening is that it's important when we are each being gifted. And for some of us, I think there's times when we have felt like almost breath by breath with, can I stay in my anchored presence? Can I keep focused in my self-ascended beingness? And so this is a very powerful gift. And in the self-ascended beingness, we felt it was important to really talk about how can this really help you? And this is a two-part show. This is today and tomorrow.
There's a lot of conversations that circulate around this theme, because truly we are at a time where there are people that are organized in the polarity, meaning the outer world's events are how they define themselves.
Yeah.
Now consider for a moment that each of us grows up, with our parents telling us what to do, our teachers telling us what to do, society at large. So the ego is trained to define itself by what's going on outside. And when the spiritual awakening, that little flame begins to grow, we open the inner world and the inner life becomes more important. And before you know it, our sense of who we are is this inner self.
I want to jump in a moment here and share, because this is what we're moving for. Self-ascension is all about the recognition that you are already whole and complete. You already have everything you need, all the wisdom, all the experience, all the teaching. However, you are here now, and this is the way Archangel Zadkiel defines self-ascension. You are here to remember who you are while you still have a body. And that's the gift, because if you can actually do this while you are in form, then not only is the transcendence more extraordinary for yourself, you are igniting the way for so many others. And so the crucible, or I guess the container of self-ascension is through the body of work that has come in through the archangelic ensoulments over 15 years.
Yeah, it's important to understand that the teaching of self-ascension, the wisdom and the light that shines, that says awaken to the truth, because the truth of self-ascension is already written in your soul. This is one of the unique paradoxes. Is when I first asked Archangel Zadkiel about ascension, there was laughter, and Zadkiel says,
literally,
how can you ascend back to that which you already are?
Breathe that in. Say that again. I think that's really worth hearing twice.
How can you ascend back to that which you already are? And so what Zadkiel was referring to is that we are ascending into the true self. You're not lifting out of this, you're ascending into what is essentially true about you, which some people call the higher self or the soul. And so the path of self-ascension is offering you the reassurance and the guidance and the practices that will help you lift out of an ego-based reality into a soul-based reality, while not denying the world.
Exactly. And so why we're sharing this with you is because through these 15 years of archangelic ensoulments, and again, if you want to learn more about this, because we really want to get to our point about where we are this week and why. But if you really want to learn more about this, go to our website, shrienkira.com, and click on the Yoga of Self-Ascension and read that page. I mean, really read it. There's a lot there, and I think it'll ignite a lot of ignition for you.
And I just want to add one more point, and that is that because Kira and I were granted the choice, you might say, when we got together.
That's true. I mean, I would say.
When we got together as twin flames, as union souls, and in that coming together, meaning the surrender of the egoic self to the divine union, that's when this whole process of archangelic ensoulment began, because the energy field of our shared energy expanded and allowed a connection, you might say, to our soul's legacy. And at that time, we were offered, here is what you can bring forward for the planet if you choose. And if you say no, that's fine too, because the ascended ones are very much in the loving embrace of free will. If you want to line up and offer these messages and these teachings to the public, we are here to support you. And if you choose just to go have a different kind of life, we're here to support that as well. And so we said yes to this mission of service, and all of these ensoulments began tumbling in, you might say.
It really did. And if you haven't read our first book, Sacred Union, The Journey Home, it is timeless. And I encourage you to read our book, Sacred Union, The Journey Home. You can get it at Amazon, get our website, wherever. But the key is that through these ensoulments and how they happened, and we're not going into all those stories today, there has been a code. And it was after Sri and I left Guatemala. We were living at Lake Atitlan for quite a while in Antigua, and the Ascended Masters came forward at Lake Atitlan, and there's actually an abode there, and very, very powerful. And we actually have pictures. My love, Sri, actually captured a picture of one of these etheric beings in our lagoon at Tosa La Laguna in Guatemala. And when we left there, we were given a very strong message when we first arrived in Uruguay. You know, a lot of people, and it's interesting, there's lots of myths about why Sri and I have moved so much. So let us just share for the record that we have moved a lot because we say yes, you know, because it looked like we were supposed to be kind of like the crystalline Johnny Appleseed for this side of the world, and certainly India, because India has been a big part of all of these kind of seeds that we've been working on in this side of the planet. And when we first got to Uruguay, there was a very profound ensoulment that came forward. It was a private ensoulment, and Sri and I are starting to release more and more of these, where we were told clearly that even we were being prepared for the information that came in during the first 6 years of ensoulments, and that we are ourselves now literally like putting keys in locks and unlocking all of these ensoulments. And what happens is that every month I get like this, I don't know, it's like they direct me. I go to our website, I go to shrienkira.com, I click on the messages from the masters, and I sit there and I say, show me. and they bring me to one of the series, and the one that just happened that we're going to start sharing with you, because it's actually a lesson that was meant for this week, was from the Divine Illumination series. It was message 5, and I opened it up, and this huge blue starborn presence came into me. All the ascension symptoms. I felt 22 feet tall. My fingers looked different as I started typing. And when I was done, it was like we had decoded that message. Now, there's nothing wrong with the way these messages are delivered the first time. They're exactly what they meant to be. But what Shri and I have been very clearly shown in our sliding of the dimensions and our gazing into the multidimensional portals was that we actually, the body of work we've brought through was actually for now. Yeah. And that this is the moment, and that we are being charged with unlocking all these. And I have to tell you, it's blowing our mind as much as it's blowing everybody else's.
It's truly a delight and a wonder to be participating,
and an honor,
with great humility, to participate in this dispensation. So the ensoulments that we have posted at our website, and there are many.
Oh, yeah.
Each is a year's worth of teaching. Each will carry you forward. And yet, each of them is coded with additional revelations that one recognizes as you're ready. As you're able to assimilate it, then it's seen. And so this is the beauty of a true teaching.
Exactly.
Is that it applies at different levels of attainment,
and this is what, if you've read our first book, Sacred Union, The Journey Home, you know, Archangel Zadkiel had always shared this, that everyone would receive the information exactly at the level of consciousness that they were ready to receive it. And that all of this information was coded. And especially Sacred Union, The Journey Home, those of you that have copies of it, go back and read it again. And it will blow your mind. And it blows ours. And that's why I think that book has been in print. We just authorized another printing of that book last week. And so I want to share, before we go any further today, that we have been receiving so many amazing emails from all of you. And especially in this moment of self-ascension or self-sabotage, right? Mm-hmm. It's a moment to really be paying attention. And we are going to start with this incredible message that we want to share with all of you. But we are getting incredible messages from you, our beloved listeners.
And thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for sending emails.
Thank you
for getting into the call board.
Exactly.
It's beautiful to bring present time to our interaction.
And those of you that are holding in the call board, I know you can hear us. Hold there. We will get to you. And if you want to get into the call board, 517-208-1500. But Shri, we've had a couple of emails forwarded to us for this week. And this one, they all touch our hearts so deeply. Yes. And so would you like to read this one?
Sure.
All right.
So this is from Akhil. And
Namaste, Akhil. I think he's over in the chat right now, too. Hi, sweetheart.
The subject line is simply love.
Gotta love love. I love that subject line.
Hi, Shri and Kira, and hello to the wonderful community that gathers every weekend.
Yes, yes, yes.
Firstly, I'd like to share that this community has helped me in my journey a lot, and my gratitude extends to all individuals, smiley face, who are part of this, and even to those who are not, even those who are not, since they are playing their part perfectly. We have all clearly witnessed over the past months a phenomenal rise in, let's just say, lower energies that do not serve the highest.
Yeah.
And this is okay because ... all voices deserve to be heard, right?
Yes, they do. And thank you for recognizing that.
And so here is a little video of the voice of love that I happened to stumble upon on YouTube. And if there's a way to play it on the show, that would be great. Or at least let's share the link with everyone, maybe in the chat room. Holding presence and love for all in my heart.
Well, I just want to say, Akhil, Shri and I watched it, and thank you for sending this. I love it, and it reminded us of many different experiences where love melts hatred. And what we're going to do, guys, is if you're in the chat room right now over at onenesstalkradio.com, Akhil, go ahead and post that link in the chat room. Yeah. And then for those of you that are listening right now, come back to our YouTube channel later today when we post the description of the show, and we will put this link in our show description, because what this is a very powerful video, and maybe you've already seen it. It already had millions and millions of views, but it's of a homophobic preacher who went into a university and was met with beautiful song, and that the single response was this beautiful love song.
Now,
and it was amazing to watch.
And it brings up a theme that Kira and I have talked about.
Exactly. That's why this one hit us so hard.
And that theme is passionate action
Yes.
versus activism.
Right.
So it was such a lovely model. The
awesome.
The fundamentalist preacher had an activistic point of view of this has to change and you got to change. And he was proselytizing.
His voice was being heard.
And rather than meet that energy at the level it was generated, the students came out and just began singing.
Yeah.
And so the heart was ignited, songs of love were shared, and at some point, the one that was proselytizing began to soften and let go of the need to do that.
It's just beautiful to watch, because it really was passionate action in motion.
Yes.
You know, this is what passionate action is. It's saying we're not going to meet this at this level of consciousness, because my angels, where we are right now, where with this multidimensional expansion that's happening right now, in order to resolve this during this moment of resurrected energy that we are all in right now, it is about lifting. It is about igniting your multidimensional presence, pulling that energy in from that moment. So you want to pull that energy in from that space of your existence, be aware of it. Why do you think that they want it to be hard? Why do you think that they want you to believe that it's not real? So if you can give yourself the gift, and if you have not yet learned the Cosmic Portal practice, it's right on our website on the homepage, SriandKira.com. So when we pull that energy back in, we begin to anchor this space right here. And that video absolutely was an active demonstration. And so thank you, beautiful one. And I am looking down at the chat at onenesstalkradio.com, and that link is there already. So I encourage all of you to go grab it, and we will put it into our description as well over at everywhere we post this show will include this link. And so thank you, my love. And wow, Shri, wow.
You know, so we are at this time of self-ascension or self-sabotage. And I want to explore that a little bit. We touched in and began to share with you about the messages and energies of the path of self-ascension, how these messages came to be, or not the story part of it, but just the reality that Kira and I have made a commitment to model this path, to live this path, and to be dispense the information and to be a guide should you choose to claim the path for yourself. And so the path of self-ascension and the ascended wisdom is in fact coded, not to be secretive, but to recognize that everyone perceives at their level of consciousness.
Right. It's coded out of love.
It's coded out of love.
That's what all of the ancient mysteries are about, even though right now, if whatever level of consciousness you're awakened to is the code you're going to discover.
And so what happens, and why I'm bringing this up, is I encourage you to check in, to tune in. We're going to share a little bit about this recent message in the second half of the show. However, here's the thing. When we read a sacred script, a literature, there is a deepening. And we encourage you to bring that gift to yourself, the deepening. So self-ascension is returning home to the ascended truth of your essential self. And whether that you call that the higher self or the soul. Self-sabotage. So we are at this moment here in March where the creation energies are supporting one to lift.
Yes.
And should you get a little nervous or fear-filled or doubtful during this process, then quite likely one will inadvertently sabotage the lift out of a fear of the unknown or a fear of something changing that you were attached to having be the same. So sabotage isn't necessarily a negative thing, it's a regressive thing. To sabotage your self-ascension is to say, I choose not to lift any further. You know,
and it's also about being it's just so much easier to go backwards, isn't it? And that is not a judgment. The reality is that there is just not a lot of support for your awakening. And when you do find that support, a lot of us go through, I know you and I certainly did, a lot of us go through, let's just say, you find the teacher for the level of consciousness that you are willing to look at.
Yeah.
And everyone has a moment where you're going to hit a wall, where something's going to hit you, and that's going to be a moment of growth. Now, this is where a lot of students stop, and it's always the teacher's fault, always, always, 100% of the time. Because if it's the teacher's fault, then you can justify staying where you are, and that's okay. And so one of the things I invite everyone to do is to thank and bless every teacher along the way.
Yes.
Thank and bless every family member. I'm not just talking about, official teachers or those that you perceive as being a teacher. Is not every being in our life a teacher? Is not every experience a teacher? Is not every breath a teacher? And so when we can start saying thank you for all of the teachers, we then ignite within us a stabilization in the next level of consciousness. And this is not about higher or lower. It's just about an expanding moment. So as we all expand, it is natural to also have moments of contraction. But the key is, during those moments of contraction, are you able to find your way through them at some point and then come back in quickly and with balance and appreciation for the journey? Or are you getting stuck there because there's a lot of, let's just use the word glue. There's just a lot of density glue there, and you'll get a lot of support there. This is where partners in pain live. Again, read our first book, Sacred Union, The Journey Home. This is where your partners in pains are. This is where you justify judgments. This is where that collapsed fourth dimensional energy feeds your ego. And remember that the gift of this moment is that allness is in its glory. And that's really where I think this presence as the gateway shows up.
Yeah. The reality is there's a lot of opportunity. We're in a world
infinite.
And that's what we're referring to as the allness. The allness is the natural result of infinite creativity, meaning the expanding universe, allowing whatever you can think of to become so, should you command it so. There's all kinds of expressions. There's all kinds of diversity in this planet, let alone other planets and other places. So the allness is an expanding differentiation of the creative energy.
Yeah, it just is. Why don't we just stay with that? It just is.
And so what's unique on this planet is this polarity and this little piece of the universe. So where there is one pole, the opposite seems to automatically appear. And this is part of the allness, which cultivates our consciousness to see between, to start finding the oneness in that storm of polarity. And to be able to see the oneness, to be able to unify the oneness. Well, in order to do that, we have to lift.
Well, and I'm giggling because, Shri and I, many years ago, we were running around the world teaching storm training. And it was, storm, STORM. And what does that stand for? See the oneness, reclaim mastery, because that is what a storm is. Yeah. It's an opportunity to see the oneness and reclaim your mastery through the storm. It's not about throwing your head in the sand and saying the storm doesn't exist, but it's also not about standing up and getting a gun and blowing up the storm. And sincerely, I want to share that, especially in the light of, I do feel that we would be remiss not to just send our love to New Zealand. We have many students in New Zealand, and our heart is big around the planet, because this was not an event in just New Zealand. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, even better. But I am speaking about the terrorist incident that happened in New Zealand at the mosque. And my heart is so big for all of us, because that voice that is being heard is ready to have an equal voice of love and positivism come up with it. And, guys, I'll share with you something as simple as Shri and I, let's go back to just talk a little bit about that Mercury retrograde, and then we are going to take callers and jump into this wonderful ensoulment. But you know, we've recently launched our app, and it's amazing. You know, every day you have these daily messages from the ensoulments, weekly practices, and this is all free. And it's, you know, the name of the app is Spiritual Mastery with Sri and Kira at both the Apple Store and Google. Well, we've been updating the app because we've been getting great feedback, and my poor husband, or my beautiful husband, is up almost 24 hours a day making sure that everything is really getting done in real time. Well, guys, while one platform, I won't say who is who, but while one platform is approving us, no worries, another platform now wants to know, what kind of a spiritual group are we?
What are you doing? Is there an agenda behind the app?
Yeah, and so we're having to start justifying our existence, when the existence of this app is to offer a place, a moment of peace, a moment of positivity, a momentary reminder that this illusion is not who you are. And so we encourage you to help us support the app. Please download it, help us, leave us some 5-star reviews, because we're actually under attack at one of the platforms, and I pray that we're going to be able to keep the app up. So we really are sharing with you that even Sri and I are seeing where these energies are trying to find soft edges or rough edges, so to speak, yet it's all in divine perfection. Because had we not launched the app, we would not have probably introduced this conversation.
No. Now, I'll tell you what, beloveds, because we are simulcasting in many places, our live radio broadcast is going into station break here. And so as we do that, those of you YouTube, just stand by. We're still here.
And we call this bonus time. So here we are at Oneness Talk Radio over at YouTube channel. And we really are grateful that you guys are here. And for all of you that are on the phone, I'm just going to also give you guys the number one more time. We will start taking callers as soon as we come back from the commercial break over at the audio side of this show. And our phone number again is 517-208-1500. I also would really like to share, and I'm going to speak with my husband because he just did some chord changes. I now have a red microphone flashing. Does that mean, can you guys hear us? Yes. Is there a link so we can leave an app review?
Don't have that yet.
Yeah, we will talk about that. Thank you.
I don't see your red flashing.
Right there, it's up here flashing.
Oh, no,
Forgive us, guys. I'm just making sure, because, you know, we're still hopefully near the end of our experimentation, where we can actually say we're good to go, and then more shows are able to go live like this from onenesstalkradio.com. But all right, but the reason it's just been Sri and I is because we have not wanted anyone else to go through what we're going through until we get it done. And thank you for whoever said yes, we can hear you. We are very grateful, and thank you so kindly for sharing that. And as we move forward in this weekend of Mercury retrograde energy, it is a powerful moment to remember that self-ascension is a yoga, right? And what is yoga? Yoga is something, it's a prayer. It's a way of saying thank you to the soul. It's a way of being. And to remember that self-ascension is simply a way of being. There's nothing you need to do or change other than say yes to you. Say yes to your divine unfoldment. And, you know, if anybody tells you that that's easy, they're a liar. But it is simple once you say yes to you. And that's, and I just have to give a shout out to Dee Wallace. Those of you that were with us on the show that is produced by my husband, but Thursday night I do a show. I'm honored to do a show with Johanna Sand, and it's Women's Voices of Consciousness, as I mentioned, produced by my husband. And we had Dee Wallace on as our guest this past Thursday night. And I want to give a shout out to her, because her biggest message was love yourself so much. You know, just be so in love with yourself so much that it dissolves any negativity. Right. And I really felt it was just such a beautiful sharing. So I want to give a shout out to Dee on that.
And it's a reminder that what you focus on grows.
Yes.
And what you resist will persist.
Yes.
And so while we notice what's going on in the world, we do not engage a lot of what goes on in the world, because we choose to invest our energy in a different strata, you might say. And this is a practice. This is a discernment and a discipline. You know, it's while every voice deserves to be empowered to be heard, it doesn't mean you must show up to listen to every single voice.
And it doesn't mean you have to agree with them. But it does mean that you carry within you the respect of the energy. You know, all beings are having a life experience that they are meant to have. It is only when we begin judging what that looks like that we make ourselves crazy. And especially when it comes to people that we love or people that are close to us. You know, the greatest lesson over the past 17 years that every time I think I've used it, or excuse me, that every time I think I've learned it, it comes to me again, is that you can only take people where they want to go, not where you would love to see them end up. And so it reminds me always, be the presence you are.
And to be the presence you are is to say thank you. You know, I'm just sitting here managing multiple devices so that we can reach as many people as possible. And I want to say welcome back to TFR Live audience. Welcome back to Oneness Talk Radio audience and all of the streams and forwards. And
we are so happy that you are here. Welcome back to all of you at YouTube. And I also want to acknowledge you. We are chatting with people over at the onenesstalkradio.com chat room. And I apologize, we're just unable to do this chat room and the chat room at TFR Live.
Or YouTube.
So if you're at YouTube or TFR Live and you want to chat with us, jump over to onenesstalkradio.com and we're happy to meet with you. Also, we have a big full call board, but if you want to try and jump in, 517-208-1500. And Shri, I just want to say thank you over in the chat room at Oneness Talk Radio. Mr. Tie-Dye, I reviewed the app and gave it 5 stars on my iPad. Thank you so much, because guess what? That's the platform that's hassling us. Yeah. So thank you. We are really, really grateful.
One of the phenomenon out there is that big corporate America is starting to really control.
Is fascinated by positivity, are they not, guys? You know, and you know, there's been a lot of chat about this over at TFR Live, and we will keep broadcasting live at YouTube as long as we can. However, my beloved husband is about a microsecond away from having our live broadcast at onenesstalkradio.com, where it can never be shut down. So we're very excited about that as well.
It's good to kind of get in one place.
It is. So
you know what? Let's say hello to somebody.
Well, let's do that. But then I really think we've been teasing everybody about this ensoulment. So let's bring on our first caller, and then we'll kind of play with both, because it's such an amazing weekend. And guys, we love you. Thank you for being here together. Don't you feel this community? You know, especially as we're getting ready to bring in callers, we feel you. We love you so much.
Well, I'll tell you what, we have a person from, it looks like Chicago, and it might be Alvin. We're going to unmute you and say hello. How are you, Alvin?
Namaste, beloved.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can. Just turn down your volume.
Great.
Yeah. Hi.
Great. This is Alvin's wife, actually, Mary Abu. Yes. And I'm really enjoying your show.
Thank you.
I hadn't listened to it. I'm a long-time subscriber, actually. But I just hadn't heard you until today. I guess I happened to be home, which is a good thing. However, I'm calling to see about a mini reading.
Well, aren't we honored? And thank you, my love.
You're very welcome.
Oh, you are so beautiful. Oh my God. So I want to invite you to just bring your hands to your heart. And as I'm connecting with you, everything I've been hearing around you is miracles, connections, next step. That, I mean, first, and I just want to share with you, my angel, this is the first time you're connecting with us. Our call boards are usually full before we even get on the air. And not only did you get through, you're our first caller. And that in and of itself is really carrying miracle energy. The next thing is that you're also, they just keep saying it's like this momentum energy. And I love that, because, you know, we are in that energy right now. They're saying that just relax. It's like, relax, we've got this. They just keep saying this. They're like, relax, we got this. Relax, we got this. And as I'm hearing that, they're saying to look down at your feet and send them love. That your feet have taken you through a lifetime of experience, and that your feet are calling to you and saying, love me, and I will carry you through to the next journey. And so it is. I am so honored to meet with you, my love. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. I needed that message.
Oh,
I think it's so accurate. Oh, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, honey. We love you. Feel our love around you, sweetheart. Many blessings.
You're very welcome. I feel every bit of it.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste. Wow. I'm just like, do you guys feel how beautiful? And I love that this was our first caller, especially as we're getting ready to go into this sacred
into this
energy. Yeah.
Well, and it's a reminder of what the cosmic scene always say to us is all healing begins at the feet. So true healing, essential energetic healing opens the feet chakras. Love flows in and up to serve our upliftment, to bring greater balance to us.
Whew. And speaking of greater balance, so guys, we actually printed this. Now, what we want to share with you is the title of this installment, As It Was Decoded. All right. And so for me to decode these takes a long time, sometimes days. And this one, when I was finished with it, I just kind of sat there, and then Shri and I got together, and it was very clear that we were to release it to the world and it needed to come out this way. And so the entire thing, if you want the PDF, if you want to read it, the PDF will be posted tonight, but the article, it's already posted at Shri and Kira Live, right?
No, ShriandKira.com.
Oh, ShriandKira.com.
And right down near the bottom of the home page, it says articles, and you'll see it there.
So if you want to really read the whole thing, we're going to be going through pieces of this between today and tomorrow, because here's the key. Okay, the title is Presence, the Ascension Gateway. But let me just read you this first little bit, and you'll understand why Shri and I are releasing it to you right now. So maybe bring a hand to your heart, take in a deep breath. And this came through from the Blue Starborn. The Blue Starborn speak. Divine beings of great light, great love, and great presence. The divine presence has abundantly ignited for thee through the energy of the manifested realms of experience. We are here with presence. And when one embodies presence, walks with presence, offers presence, then one lifts beyond any form of agenda or control of outcome. These two energies are gaining strength, the agenda and the control of an outcome. Together, they have momentum and are a manifestation of the extraordinary, unlimited, expansive energy of the allness. To move forward with an agenda limits the expansion. The need to control an outcome limits your expansion. This energy calls forward the repetition of a cycle as the beginning of another journey for those who are making this choice. And this is also a gift, is it not? To repeat any cycle in any form is to offer oneself the gift of expansion again. To breathe through the repetition of a cycle is to free oneself from the cycle. And so I want you guys to just take in a breath, because this energy of agenda and control is really being seen on the planet right now. And this is actually the energy that would invite you into this self-ascension or self-sabotage, because there are many agendas. And in order to break free of an agenda type experience is to lift in the pyramid of spiritual awakening from spiritual activism up into ascension awareness, because it's going to be that broader, expansive view. And I really think, Shri, these two lines are really to move forward with an agenda limits expansion.
Yes.
And the need to control an outcome limits your expansion.
And part of the teaching here is a reminder that to choose that is to enter in and repeat a cycle.
Yes.
So we are at an opportunity of lifting out of a cycle into a new environment, call it a new dimensional space. However, the moment we call forward an agenda of how it's supposed to be, what it's supposed to look like, let alone a more density-based agenda or need to control, what we're saying is, I want to go back in and do that stuff again.
Right.
And I'm going to regress into that cycle, and then it will carry me, and eventually I'll get to the point of lifting out again.
Right. So not to judge yourself, and to remember that, it's very easy to get back into these cycles. You can even talk yourself out of thinking you're in it. You can be way on the other side of having repeated a cycle before you even realize you're doing it, because it's a very sly energy. Now, I want to address, there's a question over in the Oneness Talk Radio chat room. So I do want to read this question. Namaste. I was wondering if it is normal to be experiencing a burning sensation and a lot of tearing in the eyes whilst doing the cosmic portal flame practice? I feel it is clearing. The answer is yes. Now, for those of you that are doing that practice, again, this is the level of consciousness. This is the energy. This is the realm that you actually need to break into to be able to call in these pieces of your ascended presence to affect your positive flow in this dimension. Remember, as Einstein said, you cannot solve solutions, or excuse me, you cannot find the solutions for problems at the level of consciousness for which they were created. And that is more than ever true about this global experience. And so I want to say that, yes, this is normal. And that as your eyes adjust more to the multidimensional experience, you want to actually start soft closing them more. And when they start tearing or burning, relax. You might even want to close them for a second and literally say to yourself, I am ready. Or do the whole mantra of self-ascension. I am here, I am ready, I'm open, guide me, begin again. And you're going to find that you're actually going deeper and deeper.
I found for myself, closing the eyes, I began to kind of quote unquote look through the eyelids, and connect with that energy without the organs of worldly perception. One of the things that came up for me as you were sharing,
yes, please,
is that it just flew away.
Presence. Let me read the next piece, the energy of presence.
Well, yeah, because it is part and parcel of
absolutely
of what is being shared here.
Yeah.
It was the Einstein quote. Everyone, I think, has heard that solutions are not found at the level of consciousness that created the problem.
Right.
So this is a truth about the elevation of consciousness. Problems are only outcomes based upon conflicted consciousness, based upon a limited perspective.
Right.
And when we widen our perspective, when we lift, when we become more love-based, a lot of those problems disappear.
Now, this is what the steps of yoga, the yoga of self-ascension is just 4 steps. And go again to shrinkhere.com, learn about the yoga of self-ascension, because that's what these 4 steps do, is they carry you through that process. And it's all free. It's right there.
And being in that love space automatically lifts your consciousness.
Right.
Well, the same is true when it comes to conversation. And that was the point I wanted to share, is that when we are dialoguing about something that is near to our hearts, when we have a shared living experience, and whether we're dialoguing about politics or health or teaching our children or whatever it is, when we come to the conversation with the energy of love, with the presence that this ensoulment is inviting.
Well, or that video we talked about the first half of the show.
Yeah, these are all examples.
Yeah.
What we're doing is we're lifting the quality of the conversation so that a harmony is generated. You can call it a solution, but it could be just simply a harmony, which in itself is a solution, is it not? Well,
and the harmony is really the energy of this entire year, because this is about diving into awareness, right? This is the year 2019 is the year 2019, right? I'm already into 2020.
We've
had so much committed around 2020 already that we we already put on our New Year event. Go to shrinkhere.com events and check that out. But yeah, so here in 2020, it's this year of divine awareness. And so let's talk a little bit more about that, and then let's go back to the call board. We have all these beautiful people holding, and so here we are. So the next piece of this, and again, you can read this whole thing at shrinkhere.com, the articles section. The energy of presence. Would you like to continue, Shri?
I'll be happy to. The energy of presence. In the presence of your divine magnitude, your divine expansion is experienced as freedom. Presence is an active energy. Call forth presence and be presence.
Breathe that in. Presence is an active energy. Yeah, and then let's continue.
And these ascended ones then continue this invitation. So I'll ground us and get going. Call forth presence. Be presence. Live presence. Experience presence. Delight in presence. Move with presence. Live with presence, speak with presence, act with presence, breathe with presence, eat with presence, speak with presence, and relax into presence, presence, presence.
How do you feel? I have to stop and just share that This is how we can let go of the density and the illusion that's trying to disrupt your peace, that's trying to disrupt. And guys, I can tell you it's visceral right now. And Shri and I are not immune. You know, we are still dealing with this extraordinary, fascinating invasion energy next door to us. And yet we are moving through it and we are holding our presence. And while we may not know what the greater good will be, we are absolutely 100% aware that it is happening, that it is in motion. And it's when you can let go of that outcome that you do find your freedom again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I think that's also part of that letting go of agenda, right? Letting go, right? Agenda and control. When you can let go of that and just do the work because it is the work, then you know. Right?
Mhm.
Then you know. And so let's take a caller before we continue, Shri.
Okay,
Let's see,
I'll
we
tell you
have
what.
right here.
Well, we have, it looks like Eva from Iowa City.
Namaste, Eva. Welcome. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so much. I'm sitting here laughing, going, wow. I'm so guided to call in, so I did. And my question for mini soul reading really, or the topic is presencing. And I feel like I'm really at the cusp of the penultimate breakthrough, and there's so much synchronicity that's telling me I'm okay, yet what I'm facing internally and externally is so huge that I haven't been able to presence it, to really shift it because of the energies that come along with it and the terror and all that. Not to go into it, but it's major, and I know it will shift everything in my life, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. So I would love your feedback as mini soul reading on that, because I feel so many of us are at this precipice.
Yes.
And I'd love your words. Thank you.
Well, thank you for the honor. And I need to share with you, my angel, the whole time you've been talking, I am having a hard time even sitting here, especially around my head and around my body. All I'm feeling is like these beautiful little bubbles. And then they're showing me you. And the whole time you were talking to me, you are in this huge, like old-timey bathtub with the claw feet, and you're in this massive bubble bath. And I just see your face, and you're covered. I mean, your head is covered in bubbles, and you're covered in bubbles, and you're laughing. And these bubbles are like every color of the rainbow. And they're saying that you are being illuminated, tickled is the word they keep saying to me. You are being tickled by the divine to really just, they're saying just lighten up. You know, it's like if you have a tub, go make a big bubble bath and don't worry if you overflow, you know. And if you don't have a tub, then make a hand soak filled with bubbles and take the bubbles and play with them, buy bubbles and blow them. And they're saying as you gaze at the bubbles, you will see what has been right in front of you. It's like you're almost scrying with these bubbles. And they're saying that it is there. It is your moment. You are ready. And they're saying, dance with delight, for the doorway has opened and that which you long for has already begun. And so thank you for bringing that beauty to all of us today. We love you so much.
Thank you. I'm in tears as always. Thank you so much.
So are we, honey. And I love your bubbles. We love you, honey. Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste.
Oh, we love you. Now, Shri, you know, I have to share over here on onenesstalkradio.com. Here's someone, several people, but the first one I want to read is from guest 927. Who's Susan? There we are. Hi, Susan. Oh my God. Shri shared an amazing healing meditation in our AMI class today that called in being present. It was so moving. And now the ensoulment. So grateful to both of you, Susan. Well, hey, Susan, guess what? We had known about the ensoulment. And so you guys got it first in the AMI class. You got that energy pouring through Shri. So I just wanted to honor my husband and this extraordinary evasive medical intuitive journey that so many of you are taking with him. And amazing. And I just want to honor Susan for sharing that. Thank you, my love. Yeah. And then I want to go to this next. There's another one I want to talk about here, and then we're going to go to the call lines, and then we're going to continue with the ensoulment. And remember, guys, this is a 2-part show.
There'll be more tomorrow.
You know, today we're broadcasting live at TFR Live and OneNessTalkRadio.com. Tomorrow we'll be over at OneNessTalkRadio.com and BBSRadio.com, and we will be on the air 1 hour earlier at noon Pacific
At
time. But
YouTube
you
as
want to
well.
join us. Yes, and at YouTube. So here's the question, Shri.
All right.
Especially since we were talking about AMI and everything, I thought I'd bring this up.
Okay.
I have had intense ringing, high tone pings, and clogged feeling in my right ear for 5 days now. Yeah, very uncomfortable, but no other symptoms. Ascension symptom? Yes. Yes. Do the cosmic portal. What I'm seeing is that your ear, and it's right? Because right here. Yeah, it's like you've called it in through the left, you've brought it up through your crown, but there's something that you're just not willing to like. It's almost like I feel like I'm here with the energy, just like pretend you just got out of the pool, and it's kind of like I'm trying to get the water out of my ear, shaking my right ear down, but they're also saying bring your finger, and it's like pull it out. Just taking a breath and just say, I receive. This is a receiving energy, and that you just need to say yes to.
It's important with any of these ascension symptoms, and in this case, we're talking about this person with the ringing, to kind of lean into it. Instead of wondering if it's safe or if it's okay, actually go into this sound.
Yeah.
Be present with it. And I just want to say, it sounds like we have a big sharing here.
Yeah, we do. We'll get to that in a little minute, and we will get to it.
Oh, but one of the things I want to share with everyone listening is, as we share this ensoulment, I do want to acknowledge that it is my beloved Kira Ra that is always in straddling the dimensions and bringing through the wisdom and the teachings so that it can be communicated through this level meaning this dimensional experience, this shared reality. And so often, when we do our monthly predictions, when we do the soul readings, Kira is bringing through this information. My job is to help her come back. My job is to help anchor it here and maybe to elucidate it a little
Probably
bit.
The biggest job of all, right?
Is sometimes we like to massage what's being said, give it another example. That's what I show up for. But it is Kira who's bringing this through, and it's Kira's voice who is bringing this through. And so I just want to acknowledge the sacrifice that she makes to literally let go of her worldly, let's just call it the goodies of ordinary living, so that she can have the goodies of the ascended connection, and then reconnect with all of you. And so, yes, she has a lot to share because she's been downloaded and given a lot of information.
Well, that's very humbling. I feel like I need to just like I don't know. Thank you, Shri.
Well, I can go more. and for those of you that may not have tuned into this, there is a wonderful class coming up April 2nd, I think it is, it's called Quantum Clairvoyance. This is how to open yourself to the quantum field, which is the descriptor of that space between the spaces that's outside of dimensional stuff. In the quantum field, one can connect with the true information. And Kira teaches quantum clairvoyance, and it's very clean, it's very pure, and anybody can benefit from it.
Yeah, and anybody can do it. You can literally get answers to anything. And speaking of getting answers to anything, Shri, I cannot believe we have 3 minutes left?
Looks that way.
How did that happen? So guys, what we're going to do is let's take another caller. Let's take another caller, and then we're going to go back to that ensoulment. We have a lot going on in chat, and if we don't get to all of you today, join us tomorrow, please. We promise you, we want to respond to all of you. So who do we have, Shri?
Well,
it looks like Laura.
We have Laura from California. Namaste.
Namaste, Laura. We don't have a lot of time, but we wanted to say hi.
Hello. Namaste. Can you hear me?
Yes, beautifully.
Oh, okay. Thank you so very much. I want first to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the help and support and everything I got from you. Every minute I want it. I was wondering if you can tell me, I did have experience. I just posted, actually. I did a meditation a few days ago with the third eye for my awakening of the third eye, and to receive the fully awakening of the energy that comes. And then I was experiencing shift after shift after shift. And one moment I met a gray above my head somewhere, a gray energy. And I stopped there. It stopped me. And it was speaking to me and saying, You can't do anything without me. And then I hear the very loud clap, like something closed over that dimension. And I felt my consciousness, turning back in my body very fast. And I stopped. So I did experience this kind of class anytime, I did so many classes with you and healing with you. I don't know what is there, who is there, what can I do more? Because
I'm going to interrupt you because we're going to run out of time and I see it. So first of all, I want you to bring your hands above your head. While you were talking, they were giving me a practice. Bring your hands above your head, touch your fingers together, then bring your hands down right below your chin. Bring your hands together, back up over your head, down over your chin, up over your head, down over your chin. And what they're saying is that you are being protected by yourself. You have a version of you that has been living in the 19th dimension that has been part of this unification process. And this one has a strong protection connection. And they're saying that it was actually helping to dissolve a remnant energy that has nothing to do with you. That everything you heard, that wasn't you. It had nothing to do with you. It was a remnant energy that was very sophisticated, but that you, in so calling this forward, you're actually in a moment of reunification. And so I honor you and I thank you, thank you, thank you. And we are very grateful. Thank you, Laura. I'm going to have to say goodbye, but I pray that helped, honey.
Thank you.
My love. We love you.
Many blessings.
Many blessings, Laura. And to all of you, and I'm looking at all of you here in the chat. We love you so much. And hey, I'm there for Quantum Clairvoyance and Encore Medical Intuitive. Yay! Thank you. Go to ShriandKara.com. Read this ensoulment, guys. It's posted. My love posted it in the articles. We'll have a PDF on it later today. And join us tomorrow. Make sure you join us tomorrow because we have a lot more to share about this moment, whether it's self-ascension or self-sabotage. It's a powerful moment.
And we always have a choice. And the choice to embody presence is to let go of the agenda, to be in the divine embrace of cosmic flow. Ooh.
I like the way that sounded too. I like the way that felt. All right.
And so as we come to a close for today, I just want to say to all of you who have participated, whether you're live with us or listening in an archive, we love you, we honor you, and we trust that you may find that all is truly well.
Namaste, beloveds. Namaste.